Practice makes perfect. Just practice more and you'll get good at drawing. Literally. However, this is probably the most easiest, or I should say, the most vaguest advice to give to any artist. As the idea practice make perfect, there are so many other factors that aren't included and are as important as practice. For example, mindset and deliberate practice, just to name a few. Before I go into the video sharing you about how to stop being bad at drawing, you need to understand that you must create bad art in order to create good art. And this is easier said than done and is mostly overlooked by many artists. But what I want you to think here is that creating bad art is actually good. The key idea is that more failure will guide us to improve at art or anything in life. We must expect failure in order to grow. When we fail, we make mistakes and we can learn from our mistakes. It is normal for us to keep wanting and reaching success and achievement. We feel happy from reaching our goals, but we also attach negative feelings towards failure. And it is common because society basically condition and train our minds to hate and look down on failure. And with this mindset, when we fail in art, this leads to a negative experience with art and we will begin to distance ourselves from drawing. This is a common issue that most artists face, and this will lead them to art block. Just think about it. When you make bad art, there isn't someone who's going to break down your door and sue you for it. You create bad art and that's it. This insignificant piece of artwork isn't going to ruin your life or career. It isn't going to destroy the planet if you post it online. Yes, there might be some harsh criticism saying how trash your art is, or maybe you didn't even get recognized. But at the end of the day, nothing physically changes. The embarrassment and shame you feel, it's just ourselves putting this pressure. Just take a moment for this to sink in. It doesn't matter what you create, you don't have to make good art all the time. It's like this heavy burden, this heavy pressure has been lifted off. You are not bounded by these limitations you set for yourself. And if you understand and accept that creating bad art is okay, you will grow to love art purely for the fun of it, not as something like this chore you must complete. Automatically, when you love things, you are more curious about them, and this is where you seek new knowledge about it. This is where when you learn art, it becomes much easier. You don't feel this friction of creating the bad art. Okay, so the next thing you need to understand, which will help you get better at drawing, is that art is very subjective. There is no such thing as good or bad art. You can't make everyone like your art because everyone has this different opinions. And our opinions are formed by the things that we see every day, the people we interact, our daily routine. People cannot classify your art as good or bad. That is the subject view of art. But you might think, if art is neither good or bad, then how do we exactly know if our art is improving? This is where I'll bring the object view. So art can be objectively bad. In this example, which art looks better? The right one, of course. But why is that though? Because you can clearly see that the artist understands all the principle of art. It displays an understanding of knowledge and experience, and the artist has a good understanding of the art fundamentals. On the other hand, this art is objectively bad because we can see that it lacks art fundamentals, it lacks form within the person, it just lacks experience. The more we improve in our drawing, we can tell the difference between good art from bad art. Like when you look at your old drawings and cringe at how deformed it looks. Another thing that helped me improve is when the art becomes unchallenging or boring. When this happens, this is a red sign that you need to try something new. So I would recommend asking this question at the end of every single week. Is my art unchallenging? Has it become safe or boring? And then write down the things that could solve this issue. And then after that, take those things that you wrote down and try tackling it the next week, and slowly but surely you will improve. Oh, I'm not good at this because I haven't drawn this 100 times. This is what I tell myself to just start drawing and ignore all the excuses like, oh, I'm gonna be bad at this. Of course, the 100 times isn't an exact number that you should be following, but this basically highlights the idea of practice make perfect. I bet you like drawing faces, right? Of course, I'm correct. But why do you like drawing faces? Because you can draw effortlessly? But don't you remember the first time drawing your first face? It was so hard. But you decided to stick to it and practice more because you want to draw faces like all the other artists. And now, here you are drawing faces effortlessly. It's so fun, right? But then, when you come to learn something new, like the hand, it sucks. I mean, there are just too many joints and it's so hard. But how many times have you drawn the hand? Ask yourself, how many times have you drawn this? It's much less times than drawing the faces. You're just not good at it because you just draw it like 2 or 3 times. Unlike the face, which is like, you probably draw it like more than 100 times. See, it's just a matter of fact of practicing it. None of your practice will be in vain because each time you draw the hand again, it's just gonna get a little bit easier each time. And again, more easier and easier. Just imagine drawing the hand effortlessly, like drawing faces. You're gonna love it. So don't worry if it sucks the first couple or hundreds of times, because there isn't a limit to practicing something. You got your whole life to do so. But of course, if you just draw hands from memory over and over again, you might be making the same mistakes without realizing it. So just incorporate practicing and extending your knowledge by continuously learning and using references when you draw. This idea that I tell myself about practicing it 100 times is really helpful, especially for those like who find it really hard to just start drawing. So why is this so effective? This is because commonly most artists hesitate to draw, again, because they're afraid of failure. So we will watch videos preparing ourselves for this. But then we go watch more and more videos, like, like the how to instantly improve in your art fast videos. And I'm not saying that these videos are bad, because you can definitely learn from them. But it's the artist who then uses this as an excuse, saying that I'm not prepared enough, and not taking the action of drawing. How do you exactly prepare yourself? Like, how do you know what exact videos will help you if you don't know what you're lacking in your drawing skills? So if you want to know what to learn next, start picking up that pen and draw. When you go out there and draw, you will encounter problems, but that's good because you will go, wow, I need to learn about the hands, or this arm looks really weird. You basically got your next stepping stones right there. That's what you need to learn next. If it's too hard, think simpler. Everything doesn't have to be super difficult as you think. Most of the difficult things you believe you have to do is all in your tiny brains. Believe me, hard things can be accomplished in simpler ways. We're just overthinking things. If we apply this rule that I proudly made myself, this rule is, if it's too hard, how can I make it simpler? Let's take learning the anatomy for example. Artists make it sound like learning the anatomy is very difficult. When I asked this question, this is what I thought to myself. I should probably not prioritize learning the muscles in the anatomy first. Like, obviously I want to learn anatomy so I can draw these super cool poses, and I want to draw them now, but memorizing the anatomy will take a long time. And from what I noticed, that this method of learning the anatomy isn't working for me. It isn't making me reach my goals. Then I remembered this one particular video that I watched a while ago, and it taught me something about using 3D basic shapes when drawing the human body. And with that knowledge, You practice drawing difficult poses using the 3D shape. Then afterwards, adding the muscles on top of the 3D basic shapes. It's like adding clothing to a body. And I just realized that without the body, the clothing will just become a piece of fabric. You must need the body. Same as like the anatomy. First, I need to learn how to draw 3D forms, and the muscles are just like clothing that will be placed over the forms. And with this, I finally found a simpler way of tackling learning the anatomy. When I discovered that, I was like, whoa, this is like mind-blowing. Why didn't I think of this? You see, when you think too hard about a problem, you become more tunnel vision on that problem. Like in the previous example of believing that anatomy is hard and it can only be learned the hard way, you become narrow-minded into only thinking that this is the only way for you to learn anatomy. But applying this rule, it just allows you to take a step back and view the whole situation from a different perspective. The process of improving your drawings is going to be very slow. Truthfully speaking, you are not going to improve overnight or in a short period. This is something I have to constantly tell myself all the time whenever I feel too overwhelmed with drawing. I know it's just so frustrating that you want to get the results now. You want to get good at drawing instantly. And commonly what many artists do is that they get this burst of inspiration and do a whole day of practicing drawing, thinking that this is going to make their drawing good the next day, but they only get burnt out and take a break for a couple weeks, and the cycle repeats. Then it becomes so frustrating because they aren't seeing any improvements. This is a wrong approach to learning drawing. What you want to do is keep consistent, achievable goals each day. Don't do something like 5 hours a day. Start a little first, just like maybe 2 minutes of drawing. Okay, you do that for a couple days and realize that you want to do more. Okay, then I will raise it up to like 10 minutes a day. Then you slowly increase it a little more. And then there will be a maximum number of hours or minutes of how much you can do art each day, and everyone is different. Some can do more or less, and you will notice through this that I cannot work 2 hours straight. It's mentally draining, and that is my limit. I notice that I work best at 1 hour, and I promise you, even though you draw a little bit a day, but every single day, you will improve much faster than the ones who spend 10 hours practicing whenever they feel motivated. Okay, so key taker here. Before this video ends, I want to tell you a valuable advice that took me a couple years to learn and accept, which is just keep on producing bad art. Even though this title is how to stop being bad at art, I hope that this video will change how you will see art. I want you to approach art as a fun subject to learn about, understanding that it's okay to create bad art, and changing our mindset is much more important for all levels of artists, because it's like the building blocks to drawing. Because if you have this like bad mindset that bad art equals failure and you dislike failure, if you continue to improve drawing in order to eliminate the bad art that you create, if you stick to this mindset, when you become like this really good artist, you will probably still criticize yourself for creating the bad art that you make. Like, what's the point? There's no point in you improving at all, because you aren't going to be happy with your results. No matter how much you improve, you're still going to judge yourself for the bad art. You're not having fun. And that's more riskier because it can lead to art block as well. And maybe even quitting art. But you know, it's never too late. You can still train your mindset to appreciate the bad art. So yeah, I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you for watching till the very end. It was quite long. And let me know if any of the advice helped you with your current situation. That's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Close.